Fox's 24 legacy probably never intended to be taken too seriously. The post-Super Bowl pilot was an hour of television, after all, that included the franchise's new hero, Eric Carter, Corey Hawkins, shooting down a construction pipe and using it as a deadly rolling pin. But this reboot had seriousness thrust upon it. Running a week after Donald J. Trump's stringent immigration restrictions on 7 predominantly Muslim countries, it could have been scripted straight from the president's direst imaginings. It was, intentionally or not, a 1-hour Super Bowl ad for Islamophobia. We open on an American home defiled family pictures, a Purple Heart, blood spatter on the walls. A jihadist kill team has slipped into the United States, slaughtering men, women, and children, looking for a database of sleeper cells waiting to be activated. That kind of super competent Islamic terror group is a staple in series like 24. Not so much in real life, where after 9/11s, Islamic terrorists in America have tended to be radicalized individuals or duos. But demagoguery is an act of imagination. You ask people to imagine a mushroom cloud over an American city, as Dick Cheney did in building the case for the war in Iraq. Or that Muslim refugees from the 7 countries on the ban list are an existential threat, though none have carried out fatal terror attacks in the United States. And series like 24, Legacy have, for years, provided that kind of raw nightmare material. The terrorists could be anywhere. They could be in your neighborhood. Or they could be in the schools, like Amira, Catherine Prescott, the Chechen immigrant apparently planning an attack with her brother and a teacher she has under her Lolita-like spell. Though her religion is not specifically mentioned, the subplot has overtones of the Tsarnaev brothers, who carried out the 2013 Boston Marathon bombings. In the tradition of 2014 subplots, the story is straight up ridiculous, but the implication is insidious, especially amid the current demonizing of immigrants and refugees. You let them in, and this is what happens. The president has been eager to underscore this message. Sunday afternoon, in another tweet attacking the federal judge who blocked his travel ban, he darkly cited, "People pouring in. Bad." Now, if you've ever watched 24, you know that every one of these storylines is subject to change. There will be twists on twists, good guys may turn out bad and vice versa. A storyline in later episodes screened for critics raises the question of scapegoating. 24, Legacy could surprise us, indeed, that's pretty much its job. But that's a message in itself, you can never be certain. Isn't it smarter to err on the safe side? It's not that the show argues all Muslims are bad. It's that it suggests any Muslim might be bad. The best defense of 24 might be that it's an absurd fantasy, where America has survived multiple nuclear attacks and major cities are free of traffic snarls. No one considers it a documentary. That's true, but not the whole truth. People may not take 24 literally, but many take it the way people often take entertainments as a cartoonish version of something real. The most obvious example is the show's popularizing of the ticking time bomb justification for torture, dismissed by terrorism experts. In the 24, Legacy premiere, it's the terrorists who torture and coerce information out of their captives. Our president, evidently, is a believer. Sean Hannity recently asked him if ABC's David Muir, who had questioned Mr. Trump about waterboarding, would use the technique if a kidnapper had taken his child. Or would you want him to talk in 48 hours from now, by being nice to him? Mr. Trump responded, "And by that time, it's too late." Over the years, 24 wrestled with the responsibility of its characterizations. It introduced sympathetic Muslim characters and spread the villainy around: Serbians, Chinese, Russians, and the evil President Logan. Its descendant Homeland CO, produced by Howard Corden, an original producer of 24 and an executive producer on the reboot, has taken pains to consult intelligence experts. They have advised, for the current season set in New York, that Al-Qaeda and the Islamic State, also known as ISIS, lack the capability to pull off the kind of coordinated plot in the United States that the 24 Legacy pilot set up. The season focuses on the case of a young Brooklyn Muslim, arrested for posting incendiary videos. Point 24, legacy works on a different level of realism, and it probably expected to appear in a different world. Had Hillary Clinton won the presidency, we'd be talking about the implications of casting an African American hero, or how incongruous it looks for the show's presidential candidate, Jimmy Smits, to be a man. The show's stereotyping would be the same, but we would not be seeing stereotyping's consequences playing out in real life the way they are now. But that's not where we are. Nor are we even in the post-9/11 heyday of 24, when George W. Bush stressed that Islam was a religion of peace. Mr. Trump is under the sway of those who see all of Islam as an enemy, advisors like Stephen K. Bannon, who has said, Islam is not a religion of peace, Islam is a religion of submission, at war with the Judeo-Christian West. This wasn't the only vision of America on display in the past week. Anheuser-Busch prepared a Budweiser commercial celebrating the brand's founder, a German immigrant, for overcoming xenophobia to create an American icon. The ad went viral days before the Super Bowl. Point 24, legacy may not have meant to enlist in this culture war. But anyone telling this kind of story now might be supplying rhetorical ammo to people who dream of making America smaller, meaner, more homogeneous, and more afraid. Does 24 want that to be its legacy?